Hello and welcome to the garden. Today I'm going to be doing a little work on the perennial section of my garden. I wanted to take you with me and just kind of show you what I'm doing. I'm going to be planting a couple things, hopefully doing a little bit of maintenance and care over there, and yeah, just giving you a full update. As you can see, these phlox are like in their prime, so of course we have to go look at them again. The first step is going to be kind of handling the tomatoes so that I can even get back there to this perennial area. But let me go show you what we're starting with and the plants that I'm planting because I'm so excited. Here's the situation. We've looked at this before, but as you can see, I've got some black-eyed Susans that are about to bloom. Of course, this gorgeous phlox. I wish I remembered what the name of it was. I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find the plant tag, see if I saved it, but it's like the most fun bubblegum pink. And there's snake root, there's some dahlias, really fun things, but it's all being swallowed by the tomatoes, which have grown larger than I anticipated, and my little stakes aren't working, but I think I have a plan. I think is going to be this trellis. I just picked this up at like a box store, but it's pretty sturdy, and I'm gonna basically try to use it as like a wall and just push the tomatoes back to upright. I'll show you how that goes because there's also a bunch of spiders that have decided to live in this lovely area, which is great for the garden, but I need to be able to, move them while I am getting back in there and taking care of things. So I don't want them to be like, I just don't want to get covered in spiders. Okay, so let's move the tomatoes and then let's do some planting. All right, this is not perfect, but it managed to create a little bit of a wall and a little bit of access back here. What I'm trying to get to is actually there's a container in there. It has a couple of zinnias, which look like they're actually starting to grow now a little bit, but I want to put a Russian sage in that container. So I need to get that container out, and I need to move the spiders. I don't know, can you see those? Garden spiders in here. I need to move those. I'd also like to get in here and kind of deadhead. I've got some Figaro mixed dahlias, which are really a pretty dahlia. They're back in here. There's some amaranthum. There's snake root, which I could probably stake up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little staking too while I'm getting back in here. A little weeding. The perennials pretty much take care of themselves, but we get some weeds now and then. So I'll just pull those out and get a few things up while I'm back in here, and then we'll somehow get this container. What I'm going to plant in that container is this beautiful Russian sage. I think it's gonna be really pretty. That is a soggy part of the garden, so I think that having the Russian sage in a container will mean that it actually is able to thrive and get the like the water requirements that it likes. It won't get too wet. And then I also picked up this really pretty butterfly weed, which I don't think is a perennial, but I think it'll be really pretty in there with the Russian sage and kind of add to that corner of the garden. Okay, so here it is. Really beautiful. The bees are already all over both of these. The Russian sage I picked is a variety that grows 36 to 60 inches tall, so like at least over 3 feet, which is what I needed because I want it to be able to stick up past the phlox, and I want you to be able to see it. And then this butterfly bush or butterfly plant will also obviously be tall. I need to go grab a stake because I want to stake those. I don't really know anything about the butterfly plant, but we'll just kind of watch that. Milkweeds and butterfly weeds are perennial for us. That was over in the annual section, so I'm guessing that it won't be a perennial in our area, but that's okay. It'll definitely be pretty for this season. And then of course the Russian sage will really take off next year, and I probably won't need to have like anyone in the pot with it. But I am going to put a stake in and just take a little bit of twine and stake around it just to keep it upright. Okay, so now I'm gonna go put it back in its spot and I'll show you what that looks like. Now, is that not a fun color combination? Look at those three together. Of course, they're just set in here, so everything will kind of, you know, grow together. But so beautiful. I love those three colors together. And then once the black-eyed Susans kind of grow up and fill in that space, that'll also really just add to the whole look of this. The phlox are really peaking, but they'll keep sending out blooms really for the rest of the season. And then behind them, I have some Mexican sunflowers, some Tithonia coming up. So last thing I'm gonna do in this area is just stake up the snake root and get that going, just so it's not falling over on top of these dahlias. And just some fun little maintenance. I love the look of this. I wish I knew more about it, but I think the Russian sage is going to be really happy. It won't get too wet. If that pot dries out a little bit, that'll actually be kind of perfect for it. And that's kind of fun. Containers in the landscape can really be a help if you have a plant that doesn't quite like the conditions where you're planting it. You can kind of, you know, make things work, or even adjust, you know, the height requirements, right? Like by putting it in a pot, you're bumping it up so that it fits better into the design of your, you know, of your flower bed, which is kind of cool. It's a nice little trick if you need it, and I think it's gonna end up working really well here. I will, of course, keep you posted. Okay, let's stake up the snake root, and then I'm just gonna finish up working on these tomatoes because they're still really wild and they need a lot of help. I really got in here and like staked it back, and right now, you know, it looks a little bit bad, but once it starts, you know, a couple days, it'll just start to adjust to its new location and turn back toward the sun. And now there's room for, like, there's agara in there, of course the dahlias. There's room for all of this to really thrive. I might even tuck, there's another snake root, needs to come up. So I'm gonna tuck that back up, and it just gives space for everything else. So it's super important. Might look awkward for the first day, but then it's fine. A big change. I don't know if it comes across quite as much on camera, but boy, taming those tomatoes has just opened up so much more airflow and space and sunlight to these plants over here in this perennial bed. I can see them. They are gonna get so much more like just light and everything. I think this is gonna be a big help. I did leave one tomato going off into the maple tree just because I think it was kind of funny and kind of cute. But yeah, everything is tied up now. I don't know, pretty well put on there. A little bit kind of maybe chaotic still, but much better airflow for the plants below. I'm hoping this will really help. And now when you walk around here, you can just actually see all of the perennials and all the flowers. Hopefully this will help the pollinators find this area. It'll certainly allow me to enjoy it more. I think that's kind of like a beautiful little view right in there. Good stuff happening. I always love to have a little section of perennials because perennials are just so fun and beautiful. My small garden, I don't focus a lot on them because I am You know, I just have such little space that I like to do annuals and try new things and change it up from year to year. But it's nice sometimes to be able to have a little bit of consistency, and I've added a few more perennials into different spaces. So slowly but surely I'm adding more, but my little perennial corner is kind of just like my favorite little corner of whimsy. I'll definitely show you another update of it as the season goes on, because once the black-eyed Susans start blooming, it gets really gorgeous. But I'm gonna go inside and wash up because I feel like maybe there's spiders or itchies, something crawling on me. But I hope you have a great day in your garden. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.